Nigel Farage says reform will protect the NHS. His candidates say it on the doorsteps, in interviews, in debates, and anyone who suggests otherwise, well, they'll tell you is spreading lies. Last night, Mick Lynch suggested otherwise, and in Farage's own words, proved him right. Mick Lynch was on Newsnight last night alongside Laila Cunningham, Reform's candidate for the 2028 London mayoral race. After spending 3 years as a Conservative councillor, she's now joined Reform about a year ago to become Farage's fangirl. I mean, the amount of times that he's made her look like a fool, and she just smiles and is quite happy to go back out onto TV and defend him. Anyway, the exchange covered the economy, immigration, the welfare state, and Lynch was, as he tends to be, completely unbothered by the format. He doesn't perform urgency, there's no raising of his voice, he just keeps it going until either the argument lands or the person opposite him runs out of road. And Laila Cunningham runs out of road pretty quickly. And what follows is one of those interviews where the more the person tries to defend their party, the worse it gets.
When actually growth comes from the grafters, the risk takers and the businesses, and Labour's hell-bent on punishing them. And I think what we really need is a government that doesn't treat growth as a government slogan. It's not a cash injection here, a cash injection here, an intervention here. It's actually rewarding those that take risks, put everything on the line to create growth, and the Labour Party insists on punishing them.
The economy section is where Lynch is sharpest, and it's worth paying attention to the move that he makes here. Cunningham opens with the standard reform framing. Labour punishes businesses, businesses create growth, therefore Labour is anti-growth. I mean, it's a clean enough line, but Lynch doesn't argue with that conclusion. He just pulls the premise out from under it.
Well, we haven't had an economy where the risk takers are making the way. We've had an economy where rich people are subsidised continuously.
See, that's a different argument entirely. Reform's pitch depends on you accepting that the people at the top of the economy got there through graft and risk, and that taxing them harder punishes that graft. Lynch is saying that that's not exactly what's been happening. What's been happening is a long-running transfer of wealth upwards, subsidised by the state, dressed up as entrepreneurialism. I can't say that word. Entrepreneurialism. Entrepreneurs. There we go. It looked good when I wrote it down. Anyway, whether you agree with him or not, it's harder a position to wave away than Cunningham manages. Then comes the minimum wage section, which is the moment the interview starts to get away from Cunningham.
I'll tell you what doesn't work for growth is making it more expensive and more difficult to hire people. And you see we have rising unemployment against young people, because when you increase minimum wage...
Her argument is that the reform argument is not just hers, it's that raising minimum wage without growth forces businesses to cut hours, cut staff or raise prices. That's real tension. Economists argue about it. It's not, like a made-up concern. But Lynch spots a trap and she's walking right into it and closes it with one line.
One of the many levers they've pulled to punish businesses.
Your policy is that working people should be poorer then?
She doesn't recover, because the logic of her position exactly that. Keep wages lower, keep hiring cheaper, hope growth eventually trickles down. Lynch is simply saying what it means out loud, and Reform, a party that markets itself relentlessly as the voice of the working people, cannot afford to have that sentence hanging in the air.
And your answer is to cut their wages. Your answer is to cut their wages.
My answer is to give them jobs, make it easier,
on lower wages.
Make it easier and cheaper to hire,
on
and we will have more. Well,
so say it out loud. Lower wages.
There is no point in having lower wages if no one's getting hired.
Then it starts to get a little bit chaotic.
They're all despicable as far as I'm concerned, and working class people should turn away from them.
They
should turn away from the hatred that is being spread.
What hatred?
Especially
hatred?
Nigel Farage has spent his time spreading hatred in this country.
Name one thing.
Your party believes in mass deportations
of illegal
people
migrants
living in this country.
What's the problem with that?
Lynch accuses Farage of spreading hatred. Cunningham pushes back. Name one thing. Lynch names mass deportations of economic migrants claiming benefits. Cunningham tries to draw the line. Not illegal migrants, just people on benefits who aren't British nationals. But then she says this.
And the British people includes people that live here that have come from abroad.
No, so do you
are the British people.
Well, they're not British. If they are not British nationals, they are not British. Do you believe that
fundamentally
trade unions
contribute
do you
to
believe
society?
That British trade unions who work hard should be paying for people who have arrived to live in social housing?
What we believe in is we pay for each other. through a fair tax system.
In which country
where
can
wealth is distributed properly
In
so that
which-
all people can advance.
But-
You believe in isolating people and taking advantage
No.
of poverty so that you can divide them and make your friends even richer.
I mean, I would have really liked it if someone had asked her about her parents and are they British? But, you know, it's not an immigration policy, it's a definition of who counts. She's not talking about visa rules or residency status or benefit eligibility thresholds. She's saying that where you live, what you contribute, how long you've been here, none of that makes you British. The passport does, or it doesn't. That's the significant thing to have said on national TV. Lynch's response is to pull the argument back to the welfare state itself. Who built it? Who was it built for? And who should benefit from it? That's the debate Reform actually wants to have. Lynch is happy to have it on those terms because in those terms, the history isn't on Reform's side.
I fundamentally, I don't even understand what you said. We fundamentally believe in one principle, that perhaps this is why you're losing votes, is that when people elect you, they are there to serve the British people and no one else.
Okay.
And British
Well,
British public
built the NHS. They brought in education. They brought in the welfare state. And they progressed this country
you look too
and
much to the
rehoused millions of people during a crisis. Reform will cut all of those things. You'll cut our NHS, you'll privatise it, and you will get rid of the Employment Rights Act because you have called us, trade unionists, a cancer in this society.
Then Lynch goes for the knockout blow. Cunningham's response is immediate and emphatic. It's not our policy. You're spreading lies. You and the Labour Party have spread lies to win the argument.
Do you have to spread lies to win your,
It's not lies.
argument?
Go on, respond
I
finally.
just said he'll privatise the NHS.
No, that is not our policy, and you know it very well, and you and Labour Party have to spread lies to win the argument. Let's keep the conversation honest, Mick. Let's keep it how it is. We are the only party that believe that the government should serve the British people first and foremost, and if British people are working...
I think all political parties believe
No,
that.
they don't.
Okay.
You don't.
Yeah, there's just one thing about that, though.
I do not want it funded through general taxation.
Right,
It doesn't work.
It is a shame that when Reform claim that they don't want to privatise the NHS, these clips aren't available to show him right there and then. I mean, because you can't say that this is a smear or it's taken out of context. That's the leader of Reform UK Limited in plain English saying he wants to end the NHS funding through general taxation and replace it with private insurance-based system. So when Cunningham says that it's not our policy, I suppose technically she's not wrong because there is no policy. The party that wants to govern the country has not written a position on it now on how they would fund the healthcare. What it has instead is a leader who keeps saying that when he thinks the moment's right, what he actually thinks. I mean, he said it in 2012, he said it in 2015, and he said it on Sky News last April. Each time there's pushback, the candidates fall back on, well, it's not our policy. And each time he'll say it again. Mick Lynch doesn't need a manifesto or a policy. He just needs to have been paying attention. And that's really what tonight was. Lynch wasn't bringing any new information. He wasn't revealing anything Farage hadn't said himself. He was just refusing to let Cunningham pretend that it hadn't been said. And it's a simple thing. You shouldn't be remarkable, but in the media environment where Reform candidates are routinely say things that directly contradict their leader and nobody pushes back, a bloke sitting there saying, yes, but he literally said it though, ends up looking like a public service. Reform can call it lies, but the proof is right here.
I think we're going to have to think about healthcare very, very differently. And I think we're going to have to move to an insurance-based system of healthcare.